Some buildings just can't catch a break, and 161 Maiden Lane is a prime example. In the vibrant heart of Lower Manhattan, where sleek skyscrapers blend with historic cobblestone streets, stands One Seaport, a bold ambition-turned-nightmare. This 670-foot tall condo tower has a surprising flaw. It leans ever so slightly to the north, 3 inches to be exact. The developer blames the contractor for sloppy work, while the contractor insists the developer cut corners. Let's face it, no one wants their luxury high-rise to lean like the Tower of Pisa. Potential buyers, understandably, have fled, exhausted by the blame game and endless delays. But believe it or not, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So how did a project with such high hopes end up in such a mess? What caused this towering ambition to lean? And most importantly, can this skyscraper be saved? Stick around to find out. But before we dive deeper, if you're fascinated by groundbreaking infrastructure projects and want to stay updated with the latest in engineering, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon. You'll be the first to know about the most incredible projects reshaping our world. One Seaport, designed by Hill West Architects and developed by Fortis Property Group, was supposed to be a standout in Lower Manhattan's financial district. Planned to span 200,000 square feet with 80 sleek condo units, all decked out by Groves & Co., it had grand ambitions. However, after breaking ground nearly a decade ago, the project stalled. The last contractor, Ray Builders, left the site standing unfinished right across from FDR Drive and the East River. Since early 2019, the reinforced concrete structure has been leaning, sparking a public feud between Fortis and the original contractor, Pizzarati LLC. Today, the tower remains in limbo, with no signs of work resuming anytime soon. Or maybe the building is just cursed. It sure seems that way. Back in 2017, construction came to a screeching halt after a tragic accident. Juan Chonillo, a worker for a concrete subcontractor, fell 29 stories to his death. Despite wearing a safety harness, it wasn't tethered to anything. His employer, SSC High Rise, faced second-degree manslaughter charges and eventually pleaded guilty. Then, in 2018, a crane operator accidentally smashed building materials into the 34th floor, spilling concrete onto the street below. And let's not forget 2015, when developer Jack Resnick and Sons sued Fortis over the name One Seaport, claiming it violated the trademark of their office tower just 2 blocks away. This legal battle ended with Fortis renaming the building to One Seaport. So how did this whole project kick off and go from high hopes to a series of unfortunate events? It all started in 2013, when Fortis Property Group snapped up the prime site for what would become One Seaport from Key Development Group. Fast forward to 2016, and the excitement was palpable as construction finally began on this stunning, glass-wrapped tower. The sales launch on April 19th was nothing short of spectacular. By the very next day, contracts were signed for about 20% of the nearly 100 units. Prices ranged from $1.2 million for a cozy one-bedroom to an eye-watering $20 million. Even million-dollar listing star Frederick Eklund got in on the action, dropping $4.6 million for a swanky duplex on the 46th floor. This place was all about luxury. We're talking a hydrotherapy spa, floor-to-ceiling windows with jaw-dropping views, and get this, access to 3 Hinckley yachts docked just across the street on the East River. Imagine having yachts on call. Though curiously, that little perk has since vanished from the building's website. Now let's dive into the crucial part. Why is this building leaning? The drama unfolds beneath the 60-story tower's concrete foundation. During construction, the soil decided to shift, dragging all that concrete, steel, and glass along for the ride. According to Pizzarati, the former contractor, this all started when Fortis chose to ignore their advice to drive structural supports deep into the ground. Instead, Fortis went for a budget-friendly soil improvement method, essentially reinforcing the earth at the building's base. They then poured a concrete slab over this reinforced soil, and construction moved forward. However, in April 2018, a subcontractor made a shocking discovery. The building hadn't settled correctly. It showed a noticeable bowing or curve in its verticality, as the court documents put it. In layman's terms, it was leaning. This revelation sparked a fierce legal battle. Pizzarati blamed Fortis for cutting corners, while Fortis fired back, claiming the issue was due to improperly pouring the concrete slab. Today, construction at One Seaport is stuck, leaving the building with only about half of its windows and finishings. It's become quite the eyesore on the New York skyline. There have been countless issues throughout its development, but the real drama centers around the most critical step, the structural base, which we'll look more into. For non-engineers, the foundation is the part of a skyscraper that sits at and below ground level, providing a firm base on which it can rise. Basically, before you build up, you have to build down. However, constructing a skyscraper in New York City is a whole different ballgame. In such a hyper-dense environment, some constraints wouldn't be encountered in places with more land, like Dallas. Here it's all about vertical engineering, dealing with unique challenges specific to the urban landscape. To understand the foundation fiasco, let's break it down. Foundations are complex, so we're simplifying things here a bit. The main job of a foundation is to provide a stable base for a building and transfer its weight to the ground. Sometimes this can be done on strong rock or ground-level soil, but you often need to go deeper. For massive buildings, you might use piling, driving steel-reinforced concrete columns deep into the ground to reach solid material or bedrock. In dense cities like New York, you can't just dig a hole wherever you want. All those heavy buildings put a lot of pressure on the ground, so any excavation has to be carefully managed to avoid destabilizing neighboring structures. But it doesn't stop there. Once you have a plan for excavation, additional measures are necessary to ensure stability. Retaining walls are essential before you start digging basements. These can be made by first driving steel sheets into the ground or creating a wall of piles. Once the hole is braced, you can safely excavate. Soil is a critical material in foundation engineering. Soil has a bearing capacity, which refers to how much weight it can handle, explains Assistant Professor of Civil and Environmental Engineering, Saeed Janbaz. Engineers consider the weight of the building, furniture, people, and even wind forces. If the soil isn't strong enough, it can be treated to improve its strength, or the more reliable but expensive piles can be used. The legal battle between Pizzarati and Fortis Property Group revolves around the foundation. Pizzarati claims that Fortis opted for a cost-cutting soil improvement method instead of using piles, leading to issues with the building's structural integrity, facade, waterproofing, and elevators. Fortis blames the concrete crews hired by Pizzarati. As construction continued, the building settled improperly, causing it to tilt roughly 8 centimeters. Pizzarati argues that the foundation needs to be fixed to prevent further leaning, which could lead to falling facade panels, corrosion, or even elevator failures. They claim to have terminated their contract with Fortis, but Fortis insists Pizzarati never actually left and continued working. The legal drama is ongoing, with both sides pointing fingers. So what's happening now? Well, there's a glimmer of hope that we might finally see a resolution to the project's legal and financial mess. Bank Leumi USA, the lender behind One Seaport, was gearing up to foreclose on the $120 million in loans issued to Fortis after months of construction delays and cost overruns. Things got heated, with the developer and the bank filing dueling lawsuits over alleged contract violations. But now they've agreed to sit down and try to hash out a resolution. If all goes well, we might finally see the Seaport project completed. But what about that infamous tilt? Will it ever be fixed? Probably not. Fixing it would mean digging up the foundation or undertaking other extremely costly efforts. Surprisingly, it isn't as big of an issue as you might think. In 2019, engineering firms Arup and WSP surveyed the building for Fortis and concluded that its structural integrity is intact and construction could safely continue. As we watch the saga of 161 Maiden Lane unfold, one can't help but wonder, will One Seaport ever rise to its full glory, or will it remain a cautionary tale of ambition gone awry? The legal battles and construction woes have certainly made for a dramatic story, but the future of the skyscraper still hangs in the balance. What do you think? Will Fortis and Bank Leumi find common ground and finally bring this luxury tower to life? Or is it destined to remain an unfinished chapter in New York City's skyline? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and please help our channel and make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon. You'll be the first to know about the most incredible projects reshaping our world.